And it's not going to be isolated to one place. The most important thing is a lot of times when people come up with like look at Prospera with the billionaires and stuff like that in the islands, they take a land.
Just stay there.
I don't need to take a land. I'll go everywhere and correct everywhere. I need to do a baseline. That's the number one goal is, and I know Morgan says to me, it's not my responsibility, but
no, you get motivation. That's something that you do that makes perfect sense.
It's not your responsibility, but it's your personal mission.
It's my personal mission. And it's also the thing is my public net worth right now is $3.9 trillion. Okay. You know how fucking stupid that would be if I didn't share that shit?
See?
Like that would just be so stupid.
When I tell you there's probably no one who understands you better in that regard than me and her, because she's also got motivation. And the way that it makes so much sense to me is like, it's literally just like, if I know I can do something about it, that is my responsibility. Versus not taking responsibility for things you know you can't even do anything about. But when it comes to that 3 trillion, it's like, let me do something about that. It makes perfect sense. Like I totally understand that. I think if anybody says that that's crazy, and it is, I know you're just looking at her, but like realistically, like that is your that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. My whole thing is have a focus and focus on that thing and let it expand, but everyone's different in how they operate, how they do things.
Right? It's also I have this capacity of like looking at a whole globe, right? And I'm so zoomed out of the globe that I can focus on the whole globe at once. Like rather than just zooming in, I can actually see the whole thing.
So like Elon Musk. I mean, not saying everything about Elon Musk, but the way he thinks about he thinks from the perspective of outside the globe. He thinks about Mars, thinks about like that, like you know what I mean. In that,
you know, it's for him. I think I have my own opinions about Elon. Like it's funny because like my accountant said to me when we first got the conversation after the 2 months of him looking at my books, he's like, "Wow, okay, so." What do we do about this net worth? And I'm like, well, just keep it higher than Elon's. Like, just keep raising it every single time because I'm not even claiming all my assets. I'm way wealthier than that, right? But the thing is now I understand it, and I figured, okay, 3.9 is a safe thing to tell the world, right? It's safe. People can kind of comprehend it.
If you comprehend one person with 3 trillion. I'm not too sure about that.
I could comprehend it, but people
not talking about 3 billion here.
No.
You know how big 3 trillion is?
Do you know how big 3 billion is?
How much what?
Do you know how big 3 billion is?
Compared to 3 trillion?
No, but do you know how big 3 billion is?
It's huge.
When you go from wrapping your head around 100 million, and then you go from wrapping your head around 2 billion, you can wrap your head around 2 trillion.
What do they say? If you spent, I can't remember what the amount was. If you spent a certain amount every day, I can't remember what the amount was, but someone made this joke about Jesus' time, or was it Moses' time, or something like that? That if he spent $1,000 every day till this time period, with $1 billion, you still have money left over.
Yeah.
Like $1 billion is huge.
Yeah.
Like so, $1 trillion is
it's not that huge though.
$1 trillion?
Yeah,
but I will say
I understand where he's coming from.
I will say that it's not like from a very, for me personally, spiritual and worldwide energetic level, it makes a lot of sense for someone like Nita to exist.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense.
Sorry, that sounds weird.
It's hard for that to make sense to the average person.
No, 100%. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, we've been living and we're finally coming out of this, I guess, energetic era of corruption, living with people who want to get to this level just for their own personal greed, for power, to control. So it only makes sense because the universe will always make sure that there's balance. You know what I mean? So we've had so much of this, and now it needs to counteract it with the balance and the opposite. Yeah. So like when you're asking like what is the purpose, what is the goal, for some people, they may not be able to wrap their head around the fact that so you want to get to this level just so you can share it with everyone.
Yeah.
Because we've been so consumed with the opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But the earth will always require balance.
Yeah. Also, too, when you say 4 trillion is a lot, in comparison,
it's not only a lot.
Compared to what? You're comparing it because it's money you associate with time because we get paid by the hour. But
like
4 trillion.
This is what I'm saying.
To what? How many cells do we have?
This is
you know what I mean?
This is what I'm saying.
It's not that much.
Elon Musk is the first person, at least outside of the crypto whatever, who's saying that he's trying to make himself the first trillionaire of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? This is why I'm saying how big a trillion is.
Yeah.
Because it's only in this age that this one person is claiming that I'm going to be the first to do that.
Yeah.
No one's ever done that before him.
Yeah, but
billionaires didn't even happen until the 20s.
Yeah, right. That's right. It's so huge.
Like,
I want people to take
though,
in. Of course,
like
in the mass of all things,
No.
trillion is nothing.
So
But
they say
within the
they're richer
scope
than
of
Elon Musk right now.
trillions is huge.
Elon says there are presidents and
so
kings that are richer than him right now.
There are royal families that have that money.
yeah,
Yes.
there's royal families that have it. There's royal families that have it, but what it is an individual. There's not a single individual that has it.
That's what
and
they
full
can't have
ownership.
Full ownership. Right.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
else,
spread.
anyone that's even in, like in the numbers that I'm at, that like for trillions, they are sovereign entities that are large corporations with thousands of shareholders.
Yeah.
I scared the shit out of everybody last year because they're like, this little girl is like doing this
by
herself.
Yeah.
And I was just running rogue. I'm like, put 10 million there, put there. And I just tried to like put the money everywhere. And they're like, no, you can't do that. Nobody's done that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, don't you have rich Caucasians just walking around?
Okay.
And then I found out, no, there isn't rich Caucasians just walking around doing a bunch of stuff.
They have access because they're part of it, but they don't have full independent ownership.
Do you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Mr. Beast, if you know who he is.
Yeah.
In his early days, the way that he would view things is kind of just like, I'll just do it, that kind of thing. But you're kind of doing it in like I'll do it myself way. He would always like outsource it from since the beginning. And he would always just be like, I'm gonna take all my money, put it back in. From speaking to him and from watching him in podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah, they interact, just the context too.
Interact. He almost hired me.
Yes, I'm just trying to keep it simple.
Keep it simple, okay.
Yeah, he tried to hire him.
So the way that he thinks is very like, and it works. And everybody's just like, what?
Yeah.
How? Why? Why would you? Your first 10,000 you gave it to a homeless person? Yes, because the video is an asset, and the video is gonna make me more money than 10,000, and then I could do that, could donate to some charity, make my own charity, put a well in Africa, put a school in Africa. He did all that, like the way that he did it, and so it's like you're kind of doing that in like a more extreme way. But the reason why it doesn't faze me is because I already get it. So it's like, and also too with the 3 trillion, it's like 3 trillion in comparison to what though? Like that's like really matters.
The relativity.
Yeah, like because there's 3 trillion bugs in the world, probably maybe more than that.
Yeah, but you don't own them.
Like, you own all your cells. How much cells do we got?
Oh my god!
You release cells every day, so it's like you don't own that.
But
that's hilarious.
Even though they're part of you, you don't own them.
But that would be like saying you don't own the money because it flows in and out. Like you don't own it.
It's too funny.
You know what I mean?
Well, I like the way you think. I'm just saying 3 trillion is a hell of a lot. You can't spend that in your lifetime.
It's not about spending it.
I'm just saying you can't spend it. I'm just saying you can't spend in your life. I'm just saying how big it is.
Yeah, but like
I'm not saying it's not possible.
But think about how big.
Okay,
hold on. You experienced everything all at once at the same time.
All at once at the same time.
So you're bigger.
For this.
You're bigger than Morgan. You're thinking of it like I can't spend it in my lifetime, but I am an extension of you. So I would be able to spend some of it. I could be able to spend some of it. That's still you. So that would mean
I'm not arguing any of it.
I know. I was saying like
that's the way. Huge number.
You're limiting yourself, and it's my money.
That's the way to wrap
talking about your money, arguing your money.
You're limiting yourself. I'm your descendant.
That's the way to wrap it up.
I'm not saying I can't wrap my head around it. So the average
I love that because now I understand why my kids like want me to go so hard. Now they're like, hey, you're the one that's leaving this behind. Maya, what were you gonna say?
I was say I appreciate Morgan's amazing
Trillion is huge.
Out of all people.
It's really funny because, mind you, like first it started off 10 million, and then that's when I went to the bank because I was like, oh, this is like a lottery, like, you know, and tell them to run it. And then I went and I talked to the bank and I showed them the paperwork. I'm like, so you guys never told me I could do this with my assets? I'm like, could I make them tangible? And they're like, yeah, if you organize it properly, then you can make intangible tangible. I'm like,
You can make intangible tangible.
yeah, if you organize it properly. So that's what the bank first told me when I went there, and I was at 10 million. So then I went, did a bunch of interviews, talked to a lot of wealth managers, and each person kept showing me what I was doing wrong. And then I just would go back to the drawing board. And then each time I did that, though, I come back and it'd be like $1 billion. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, what's happening here? Right. And then I would be sitting down and I would have plans. And I'm like, well, I always wanted to make a children's hospital here. I always wanted to like go back down and help my family in Oklahoma, go help family here, help friends' families. That all just accumulates. So what I learned is literally the more that you try to give away,
the more you end up getting.
The way more. And because trust work differently than cash. Okay. So you can't spend a trust. You can't. So what you're actually doing is you're making disbursements out of your trust. And then you can live off of the disbursements. But the disbursements can actually be then put into accounts with the banks, private banking. Okay. And they can, like, imagine this. If you have 2 million, you put 2 million into a bank account, it pays you interest. Okay. What was it Einstein said about like interest? Like if you go ahead and if the person that learns interest is the person that will be the person being paid from interest, the person that doesn't learn interest will continue to pay it. Right. So it's just about that. You put your money like
the same word, like when you have like a when like let's say you have a student loan, right? And you're in that, if you don't pay it, they will put interest on it, right?
Yep.
And then also if you have money in the bank, they're not in debt and it's live and they can use it because you know it's in their bank, they will pay you interest. Same word.
Exactly.
Wow.
They will pay you interest. Wow, so if you have to meet a certain threshold, and then when you meet that threshold, 2 million is generally the main threshold for it to start making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So for me,
what's the threshold?
2 million.
2 million, right?
Yeah. So what I want to do, and we spoke with the accountant about, is taking all the different asset lines that you have, depending on readiness, and then we get those transferred over into actual trusts. And then that way we start working with the money out of that. But what it'll do is the interest will start to pay you and you'll live off of the interest each month. So one of the things the wealth manager that like I spoke to last year taught me, like I love Morgan was literally with me when I had this consult, but he said to me, he's like, yeah, like that's 100 million interest per month for off of 3 trillion, right? So he's like, you don't want to realize it all at once. You don't want to do that because the taxes would be crazy and it won't be beneficial to anybody, right? So you just stage things and you do things at a sequence, right? Doesn't all have to be realized. It's for the rest of our lives, right? And then beyond, you know, whoever, my kids got to be trained and then, you know, everybody else. But
you will literally run out of ways to spend $100 million per month.
Yeah, and that's 100 million. That's interest. That's not even anything coming from my assets.
That's just the additional.
That's like that's money that's being made out of nothing almost. Okay, so a lot of people that like
they're the bank. When you put money in the bank, they're basically borrowing your money and they're paying you a small amount of it, right?
They're borrowing your money and they're investing.
Yeah, so they're basically paying you to borrow your money, but you still own the money.
Yeah.
So and then the disbursements, they're taxed.
The disbursements can be taxed depending on how the disbursements are set up. So disbursements can be stipends and then they won't be taxed.
Okay. What is the opposite of that?
So
stipends, what is the opposite?
So like if I paid you as an employee, then you would be taxed. Yeah, but I won't be paying anybody as an employee.
What about the people who?
So stewards don't get paid as employees.
But what about the people that they hire?
They hire, that will be taxed. That's why everyone will be overpaid. That's what we'll be doing as well. There's a certain amount of money that I will be putting aside to cover 10 years of taxes. Okay. So that's something that I want everyone to like consider. There will be set aside money out of all of this for 10 years for it to just be covered. I can't pay it all in advance. Okay, there's penalties to pay something in advance, but I can put it in trust, and that trust each month then covers the taxes for us. Okay, so there's different ways to like go about it, and
then in that time, in those 10 years, if we're all doing this, learning, being educated, we'll know how to cover taxes after the 10 years is up.
Yeah, you'll absolutely know how. And also the thing is remember, it's just a trust. So the thing is, it's going to compound. So like the money that compounds can also still go towards it. And then when the 10 years are done, we sit down and we go over it and we say like, okay, let's do another 10 years.
So we don't actually have to know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
People are working under us.
I get that. I'm just somebody where like, even if I'm gonna hire someone for the job, I need to know what
it's okay.
At least you have that option, you have that control.
Yeah.
I like to let everybody know. Yeah. That's a good point. If you don't want to know, you don't have to know.
No, everyone should know.
I want you to know. I do want you to know, because that's also informed consent.
Yeah.
And informed consent saves us a lot of headache.
Yeah.
You know, that there's certain court papers, agreements and stuff like that. I don't want it to go over anyone's head. I want, ask me anything. Like, and if I don't know, then I'm gonna go find out. Right.
Yeah. Even if there's like fine print and details that are like a lot to comprehend, it's like there's still ways to translate it. You know, like if we can't directly translate it, get someone to go online to do it. ChatGPT will break it down, something.
Yeah.
You know,
Also,
we should know our contracts.
Yeah,
exactly.
Also, the same way, look, I said that I spoke to 200 accountants, 300, like, that's 30 minutes. That was a free 30 minutes that I took. Okay. I reached out to hundreds to thousands of people and said, can I take your free 30 minutes so I can learn this? Okay. You can do that too. Yes. You can absolutely do that too. It's available. There's no limit to how many people you speak to and get a free 30-minute consultation with them. And it will teach you a lot. That's how I know almost everything here. And I also then learned the limitations of the banks. And then I learned the limitations of the government. Because in Canada, there's certain things that they don't have for intellectual property that they might have in Ireland. Right? That they don't have, that they might have in Dubai or the UAE. Right? So it's good. Sit down and talk to people, ask questions, interview and stuff. Don't take everything everyone says.
Of course, take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. That's the most important thing, right? But it's good to pick people's brains. And then on top of it, what's really, really important is then if somebody says, well, did you guys do this? We did oversight. We did our due diligence. We went above and beyond. Even like the accountant that we have right now, like when you guys meet Robert is he's very holistic in the way that he will teach you. He will explain it to you. He'll tell you his limitations and everything. That's why I hired him, because he told me what he could do and he couldn't do. Okay. Everyone was telling me what they could possibly do.
Yeah.
You know,
no one was being real about what their limitations were.
No one was being real about, because also the thing is this level of money, people want to pick your brain.
Yeah.
People want to find out how you did it. You know, they want to, is also too, is there's only about 1,300 to 3,000 billionaires. Okay.
Yeah.
So think about that. Okay. These people that are doing the private banking, having these conversations, don't have to talk to too many people. Okay. There's not that many people with like huge amounts of wealth for these people to be dealing with. You guys are going to be entering into a grid that like nobody can say that they're part of, right? And that's going to be leverage, because something that's very important is collective understanding. The same way that money just operates in the first place is people agreeing upon it in the first place. So for your corporation, everything that goes into it, exactly, everything that goes into your corporation is a declaration. It is part of your law. It is part of your sovereignty. It's part of your entity, right? And you can design the laws around that. You can design the nationhood around that, everything that goes into that. Like what you were saying about like how people move to one place and, you know, then they build up that place and everything. That's why I want to do it across the whole world. So having the 58 estates picked out, it's all corners of the earth, all corners, places in Chile, places in Paraguay, places in Australia.
So those are for the 5 stewards?
Yep. The 5, so there's 5 main stewards, okay?
And
then
they watch 5 houses?
5 houses each.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And who
Yep.
who's the 5th steward? 1, 2.
Ethical system. And then that way provide jobs that are for the local people there to then create not only for themselves but like the communities around them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's it's going to be very important too with those types of systems is you would raise every single person's net worth to 100,000.
Within
Whichever system that you engage with, the first step of correction is every single person in whatever place you want to go fix it, every single person is entitled to 100,000 net worth. Okay. So we would use that as our main leverage to go correct certain things. Because like I said, cash can be dangerous, right? But raising that net worth gives them bank leverage, gives them passport leverage. It can help them so they can leave, you know, or they can make decisions and stuff. But we would take it and we would flip it, right? But we would then give the choice. Do you want to stay and work here? Like, are you just here because like they just caught you?
Yeah.
Like, you know? So we have those kind of systems in place where it's like factories. Another thing is we have a system where I can go ahead, and it all has to be done with oversight, is we can buy slaves and get them out of trafficking situations, right? So that's something that we can also do. We have certain trust structures set up so that we can legally do it, so that people understand what it is on paper as well. Right?
Wait, so is this kind of like for example, there's like, let's say there's like a company and it's like owned by a corrupt CEO, or even I guess it counts as a country too if there's a corrupt president. If you go and you're not the corrupt CEO, and then you go and then you just fix everything, like the only reason why that country or that platform is considered corrupt is because the person who owns it is just really greedy and wants to do a bunch of messed up stuff. Like it's like ownership, right? So it's just like, well, I'm the owner now, so if I want to replace all this and just hire slaves instead so we could, you know, make more money and pay them less, then that's what I'm going to do because I'm the owner. But then we can just be like, well, I'm going to buy that company from you. Now I'm the owner. Now I can do it my way.
And we provide an exit plan for the owner. So the corrupt owner, I'll give them an exit plan.
Even the corrupt owner?
Absolutely.
So have like a harmonious.
Exactly. I give them an exit plan. Corrupt governments, corrupt corporations, everything, criminals, everything, cartel, you get an exit plan. We put it into a trust. All of your wealth goes into a trust, and then we use that trust to regenerate the planet. And if you don't do that, then we can take whatever course we need to take, right? But what we're doing at the end of the day is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to free up some people. I don't care if you have beef with me. Here's an exit plan. You know, you retire. Go ahead. Go
right.
Here.
Get them off the street.
You want some money? Go ahead.
Right. I heard of, I think, I don't know if it was Mr. Beast, but one of the big, and yours is like would be a network version instead of a money version, like that.
Well, so the thing is with the net worth version, when we use the net worth leverage, right? We are going to add like evaluations. We're going to do the intellectual property. We'll see what kind of asset we compare someone to, right? And then we can raise their net worth. The thing is if I'm dealing with the government, right? And if I'm dealing with a fiduciary or corporation or anything, they actually have the mechanisms to make all the assets that we have cash. So for them, it's a whole different offer at that point, right? So then that's when we would not offer them the net worth leverage. We would say to them, let's do a deal, and then you can cash your way out of this. So what we would do is, like I said, the most cartels, here's the thing, most cartels are billion-dollar empires. Okay. So what can they do with that money? Nothing. They can't. Like it's dirty money. So the thing is if you go ahead and now you commit to leave the life, you have 8 billion. I'll put it in a trust, clean it legally, and then we'll put it towards the food forest, the economy, everybody else, and I will pay for you to exit. I'll buy you your house, your cars, everything that you want. Have a nice little exit plan, little succession. You and your family will be set.
Right.
As long as you just stay in your corner. Like, don't touch nobody no more. Okay. That's it. But I don't have a system where it punishes anybody. Not a single person should be punished in the system. Every single thing is exit plans. If you need an off ramp, you get an off ramp. But there's no punishment in the system. It's just a parallel system to exist.
So are you